Now is Matt Schlapp. Matt is a Republican strategist and former White House political director for George W. Bush. Matt, let me start with that. Do you think that Ted Cruz is just teasing his supporters with that, or he firmly believes that there might be an opportunity to get back in this before the convention?
You know, Thomas, I think that we might just be reading more into this than he might have meant. But the other piece of this is, you know, Donald Trump is in a sense getting negotiated with by Paul Ryan, a little bit with Ted Cruz. I've been seeing Ted Cruz supporters on social media and on my email, their desire to make sure that we have a conservative platform going in and coming out of Cleveland. So everyone's trying to leverage this opportunity of an endorsement of Donald Trump to make sure that they get what they want in all this process as well.
Well, there's much to be discussed before unification, as we're going to witness coming up in Cleveland. But talk about what this means, the speaker meeting, the internal fires that are happening because of the power struggle that maybe Paul Ryan, congressional leadership, even Ted Cruz and his supporters are trying to have within a Donald Trump Republican Party platform.
Yeah, well, I think that's right. I think Paul Ryan is doing what I think he needs to do of the Republicans in the House. We've had a surge of Republicans, our biggest majority in the House in almost a century, and a lot of these new Republicans come from tough districts that Barack Obama carried when he won re-election, and they're going to the Speaker and say, look, I'm very worried about Donald Trump. Let's face it, Donald Trump is an outsider. He's thrown away the normal rules of politics. And it scares a lot of people, and it should, as an outsider for all the elected Republicans. Having an outsider kind of changes everything up. I think over time, people will calm down. I think good poll numbers do a lot to calm people down, Thomas. And he's got some great polls coming out this morning. And I think over time, with these meetings and the outreach, I think most of us will come together. I don't think all of us will. I don't think he'll get everybody. I don't think he'll have the same numbers that Mitt Romney was able to pull together on the right. But I think most of them will, and I think Trump is going to make this a competitive election.
Matt, let me ask you about Mitt Romney. It was yesterday that Peter Alexander had a conversation with Congressman Collins, who is a Trump supporter, basically saying that Mitt Romney is irrelevant, the Bush family is irrelevant if they're not supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump is saying that he needs over $1 billion to wage a win for the White House against Hillary Clinton. How does Donald Trump win over the Romneys or the Bushes, the people that have connections to the big establishment money, if people are willing to say that they're irrelevant? Does that mesh up?
No, it really doesn't. The fact is this. It's in Donald Trump's hands. He's got a lot of charm. He's got a lot of skill. He's got a lot of ability. He's survived the real estate market in New York all these decades. He's going to have to go out and court these people. But the other piece of this, there is a kernel of truth here, which is, you know, as an outsider, he doesn't have to necessarily nail down all of these insiders. He's running against Washington. He's running against elected officials. And for the Bush family, I think it's probably been a very painful chapter to watch happen to Jeb. I have great respect for Jeb Bush, and obviously I worked for President Bush and love him. And I'm sure this has been a painful chapter. And the idea that they're not going to the convention, there's probably a lot of wisdom in that beyond, above and beyond what they think of Donald Trump. But you're right. He's got to raise a lot of money, and he's going to have to court a lot of people to get there. And that's the way this process works. And I think he's going to be mostly successful at it.
Republican strategist Matt Schlapp. Matt, as always, great to have you.